Dry land, where water is lacking and hardly any plants survive. Dry land accounts for 46% of the Earth's land area, being home to more than 1/3 of the world's population. The world is facing challenges in dry lands. In particular, desertification and drought are progressing problems, causing loss of the biodiversity and reduced productivity in agriculture, which can trigger aggravation of recurring problems, including poverty and environmental migrants. These are universal issues that must be tackled not only by those in the drylands, but also by people around the world. This is the Tottori Sand Dunes in Tottori, Japan. A famous tourist destination, these sand dunes are home to the sole institute designated to dryland science research in Japan. It is the Arid Land Research Center of Tottori University. The Arid Land Research Center is a joint usage research center accredited by the Minister of Education, Culture, Sports, Science, and Technology, where researchers from different institutes in Japan and other countries gather to conduct research on problems such as desertification and drought using its large-scale research facilities.
Hello everyone, I'm Norikazu Yamanaka, the director of the Arid Land Research Center. Our Arid Land Research Center is the only research institute in Japan that addresses the problems of drylands, such as desertification and drought. Most of the challenges that arise in drylands are common to the international community. As the core of dryland science Japan, we are working to solve the problems in drylands together with researchers around the world. How can we prevent land degradation and restore ecosystem? And how can we grow drought and high temperature resistant crops and achieve sustainable agriculture in drylands? And how can we contribute to the improvement of livelihood in drylands? These are the questions we are thinking about every day. Together with the people living in the drylands, we are conducting field research. And we are also conducting research using the advanced research equipment of the Arid Land Research Center. Our advanced research equipment is for joint use. We invite you to come to our research center and work with us. We look forward to working with you to ensure a sustainable and prosperous future for drylands. Thank you very much.
The Arid Land Research Center is aiming at fulfilling the following 3 roles, serving as a joint usage research center. 1. Exploration of dryland research frontier. We pioneer new research fields in dryland science in cooperation with research institutes in and out of Japan. 2. Formation of the International Network. We bring the outputs of translational research to the social implementation in drylands by the expansion of the academic network. 3. Capacity development of young researchers. We foster young global leaderships in the field of dryland science. These missions will be fulfilled in partnership with not only research communities, but also with stakeholders from all over the world. This is called the Arid Land Dome, which was constructed in 1998 as an experimental facility for advanced research. This dome-shaped glass greenhouse, spanning 36 meters in diameter and 16 meters in height, boasts an area of 1,000 square meters, with the interior divided into 3 sections. Plants native to the North American continent, such as those of the Cactaceae and Agavaceae families, halophytic plants, and plants for fruits and seed consumption are collected, cultivated, and displayed in the Arid Land Plant Resources Exhibition Area 1. Arid Land Plant Resources Exhibition Area 2 exhibits a collection of distinctive plants of arid regions in subtropics, such as date palms, genus acacia plants, baobabs, and macadamia nuts. The back section holds large equipment for physiological experiments, such as a wind tunnel.
I'm Sachiko Matsunaga. I'm a PhD student at the United Graduate School of Agricultural Science, Tottori-University. I'm working on the research focusing on novel methodology to select high-temperature tolerant bread wheat. Bread wheat is generally intolerant to heat stress, and grain yield is decreased under the high temperature above 30 degrees Celsius. And there are no such heat stress tolerant wheat lines in current wheat cultivars. Therefore, it's expected grain yield will be decreased in the future global warming. Now, we need to develop new cultivars tolerant to heat stress by breeding and selection. In the effective selection, it's necessary to understand the effect of the high-temperature environment on yield and to develop an efficient method to evaluate the tolerance. That's why I'm working on the research, elucidation of molecular mechanism of high-temperature stress response in bread wheat to find biomarkers for evaluating the tolerance. In the detail of my research, I have already found heat stress tolerant lines of wheat with unutilized genetic resources, and I obtained samples from these lines under artificial heat stress environment. These samples contain many metabolites and mineral elements. Some of them could make a plant tolerant to heat stress. We are using advanced high-sensitivity mass spectrometry such as LCMS, ICP-MS, and IRMS in our Arid Land Research Center to identify small amount of molecules and elements. This research is expected to save the food crisis in the future global warming. I believe this work will be spread from Tottori-University and contribute to world food security.
I am Takayoshi Ishii from the Arid Land Research Center. My field of research is plant cytogenetics. My research focuses on manipulation chromosome to develop crop resilience to the climate change. The machine behind me is called desert simulator. This machine can reproduce the environment of various arid regions around the world. There is no arid land in Japan, but we live by importing various crops from the arid land farmers. Therefore, there is a great need to study dry land crop in Japan. For this reason, we need this machine to artificial creation of the dry land in Japan. In the desert simulator, a legume crop called cowpea is growing. We are currently working on this crop. Cowpea is a crop that originated in the West Africa, and it's very drought and high temperature tolerant. It takes time to create a crop that can withstand climate change. Our research group is working on the creating of a haploid plant by manipulation of the centromere. If we can create a haploid, we can shorten the breeding time from 10 years to less than half. It will be possible to quick creation of the resilient crop that can respond to the climate change.
I'm Taniguchi and work in microbioecology. There are desert plant and the isolated microbes from the root. The presence of microbes in plant is very common, and such microbes interact with the plants in various ways. Some microbes help plant to absorb nutrients and grow better, and they increase resistance to drought, stress, and disease. My research focuses on the ecology of these microbes and the discovery of highly functional plant-associated microbes for use in ecological restoration and sustainable agriculture in drylands. but the microbes are very small and invisible, and most of them are difficult to culture, which was a research problem. In recent years, however, the dramatic improvement in genetic analysis technology has led to the development of an approach to study microbes by analyzing their DNA. This recombinant laboratory is equipped with the basic equipment for such genetic analysis. If we want to know about the amount of microbes or expression of the functional genes, we use real-time PCR system for DNA and RNA quantification, or this digital PCR system. And if we want to study the community, function, and diversity of microbes, metagenome analysis with the next generation sequencer is very powerful. By using instrument, we can find microbial function and efficiently search for useful microbes.
I'm Munemasa Teramoto in Arid Land Research Center in Tottori-University. I'm a researcher engaging on greenhouse gas analysis, the emission and absorption in terrestrial ecosystems, especially mainly focusing on soil carbon dynamics. Soil contains large amount of soil organic carbon derived from plant materials. This soil organic carbon is decomposed by soil microbiota, and heavy amount of carbon dioxide is emitted to the atmosphere. Therefore, analyzing soil organic carbon is deeply concerned with global warming and climate change. However, soil contains not only organic carbon, but also inorganic carbon, like calcium carbonate or sodium carbonate. Therefore, it was very time-consuming and labor-intensive work to analyze these kind of different types of carbon. Here, we newly introduced total organic carbon and nitrogen analyzer to the center. This system enables us to analyze different types of carbon at the same time from the same sample. This system is expected to promote carbon and nitrogen cycle study in Arid Land research.
My name is Yasunori Kurosaki, a professor of Arid Land Research Center. I study sand and dust storms and wind erosion. We can see sand and dust storms occur in various regions by satellite images. Arid Land Research Center has conducted research to elucidate the mechanisms of occurrence of sand and dust storms in the Gobi Desert. The location is Tsoktobo, South Gobi Province, Mongolia. This observation system measures sand saltation, dust concentration, and meteorological elements as shown. The system also takes a picture every hour. These observations are carried out 24 hours a day, 365 days a year using solar panels. Since the data is sent to the server once a day via the internet, we can check the data anywhere if an internet is available. We can check it from the Arid Land Research Center in Japan and from Mongolian Information and Research Institute of Meteorology, Hydrology and Environment in Ulaanbaatar, which is our joint research institute. We can check wind direction, wind speed, dust concentration, and saltation, and our observation site by pictures. Through this observation, I aim to improve a numerical dust model, but I have colleagues who proceed their research to prevent desertification.
The center also serves an educational purpose. As a leading institute in dryland science in Japan, we provide education and supervision of graduate students so that they can gain a skill set to live up to their potential in the global arena, which will ultimately contribute to the global effort of revegetation in drylands and prevention of desertification.
I am Benjamin Ewaubi from Nigeria, a visiting professor at the Arid Land Research Center, ALRC. Our research is on the field screening of Asian cowpea genetic resources. The situation of food insecurity in the world, and particularly in the rapidly expanding dry lands of developing countries, calls for concerted efforts towards sustainably increasing crop production. Cowpea is a green legume of major importance for food security. Global efforts are being made to search for cowpea genetic resources with agronomically superior and adaptive traits for improved abiotic stress tolerance, which is necessary to combat the present and future food security threats associated with water-limited production areas, given the increasing climate change scenario. Tottori-Univ introduced over 400 Asian cowpea accessions obtained from the National Agricultural Research and Food Organization, NARO, which are currently being evaluated in the experimental field of the Arid Land Research Center. The Sustainable Development Goal SDG 17 is anchored on creating more sustainable food systems through collaborations, innovations, and partnerships, which underscores the importance of the international exchange and partnership as it is currently being fostered between the Arid Land Research Center, Tottori-Univ, Japan, and Nigeria as a strategy to boost food security in sub-Saharan Africa.
My name is Nasreen Omar. I am from Sudan. I am a project researcher of the Marginal Region Agricultural Project of Arid Land Research Center at Tottori-Univ. My research objective is to develop drought-tolerant crops, and my main research interest is in sorghum, because sorghum is considered as a staple food of the world's poorest people, especially from arid and semi-arid tropics, where the drought stress is a major constraint to crop production in semi-arid tropics. Therefore, improving the drought tolerance of sorghum has been a challenge for plant breeders. Stay green trait is one of the traits that can provide post-flowering drought tolerance. I was successfully able to introduce the stay green trait into 2 sensitive sorghum genotypes, and these lines can provide more than 80% of the yield advantage over the sensitive parents under drought conditions. I am trying to promote these lines for commercial production in Sudan, and I am currently focusing on the understanding the drought tolerance mechanism behind the stay green sorghum lines using the advanced genomics and multi-omics systems in the Arid Land Research Center at Tottori-Univ. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Qing Qing. I'm from Inner Mongolia of China. I'm studying in Tottori-Univ of Arid Land Research Center. Now I'm a first-year PhD student. My research title is The Effect of the Heat Stress on Milk Production and Quality of Lactation Shape. The study area in China, I'm planning to do the experimental study using the respiratory chamber in China next year with cooperation with Lanzhou University. As we know that because of the climate change, extreme climate has become an important issue all over the world. So, I want to make clear the heat stress effects on ruminants, not only on sheep, in future.
I'm Nugusi Aragawan, an Ethiopian origin and professor of Tottori-Univ since 2010. I'm here to introduce the Southrestopian Project, which is entitled Development of Next Generation Sustainable Land Management Framework for Combating Desertification. This project is intended to develop integrated technologies that could reduce soil erosion by 60 to 80%, improve land productivity by 20 to 40% while ensuring the participation of the land users. In this project, 3 institutes from the Japanese side and 3 institutes from the Ethiopian side are taking part, in which 60 researchers are involved. About 48 SLM technologies has been tested in the field, targeting cropland, grazing land, and bushland. About 17 practices out of the 48 has been selected as best practices, taking the opinion of relevant stakeholders. So, to facilitate the elimination of these guidelines and manual are being developed. We have been working also on the development of the laboratories and also training of young researchers. From the viewpoint of scientific achievements, we have published over 40 journal articles, including 1 book. We are hopeful to contribute to the global effort of mitigating land degradation, particularly addressing the issue of land degradation neutrality by 2030. Thank you.
My name is Yasser Burafi. I am working here in Tottori-University for the WITSAT project, development of climate change resilience innovative technologies for sustainable wheat production in heat and dry boron agroecologies of Sudan and Sub-Saharan Africa. Wheat is a strategic crop worldwide and also in Sudan and in Sub-Saharan Africa, and there is a big demand for wheat, and there is low productivity in Sudan and in Africa, and the big demand came from the increasing population and also due to the urbanization. So there is an urgent need to fill the gap between the production and the consumption. And this could be achieved by increasing the production and the productivity to realize self-sufficiency and to sustain the food production or food security and to reduce the poverty. And also, the overall goal of this project is to provide a model that could be applied in other sub-Saharan African countries similar in having similar agroecologies to that of Sudan, and in this way we can contribute to the Sustainable Development Goal 2 of United Nations. And the project actually working with 5 groups addressing the development of new cultivars, at the development of crops with good nutritional values, and also understanding that the interaction between the crop and the environment, and also the most important part is the capacity building for the researchers, students, and for the farmers and all stakeholders along the wheat value chain.
The Arid Land Research Center is conducting research that contributes to the achievement of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, in the areas related to desertification and droughts. SDGs are the goals to be achieved by the year 2030, adopted by the United Nations Summit in 2015 to realize a sustainable and better world for all. They comprise 17 goals with 169 targets. In relation to the Goal 2, Zero Hunger, a research on determination of irrigation depth using a numerical model of crop growth and weather forecast is ongoing. Specifically, a numerical model of plant growth is combined with weather forecasts to propose a new method to optimize the amount of irrigation each time for the maximization of net income. To achieve this, the concept of virtual income, which is proportional to the rate of transpiration until the next irrigation cycle, has been introduced. In addition to 6 cropping seasons in the sand dune fields, field experiments have been conducted in Jordan, Sudan, Tunisia, and Morocco. And by comparing the net income of experimental plots with automatic irrigation based on moisture monitoring and experimental plots based on the new irrigation scheme, we have verified the efficacy of the latter. So far, this new method has shown, in many cases, higher net income compared to the automatic irrigation. Collaborative trials with the Moroccan branch of the International Center for Agricultural Research in the Dry Areas and the Agricultural Research Corporation Sudan, ARC, are underway to further improve the scheme. The photo on the upper right is a water-saving irrigation experimental field set up in the field of the International Center for Agricultural Research in the Dry Areas in Morocco. And the photo on the lower right is a 4-day international training on this method held in Sudan. In relation to the Goal 13, Climate Action, a research on climate risk management towards sustainable agriculture in dryland Africa is ongoing. Drought is the natural disaster with the most victims in the world. Rural societies in drylands are particularly vulnerable to to instability of crop production. In dryland Africa, it is projected that there will be an increase of severe droughts by the middle of this century due to global warming, making drought countermeasures an urgent priority. However, in drylands where rainfall variability is large, it is difficult to determine the timing of plant seeding and fertilizer application. With these constraints, farmers' response to drought has not been established to date. Climate risk management is being introduced around the world to increase resilience against drought disasters. It is important to predict future yields by crop model simulations using seasonal forecasts. In addition, farm vulnerability and climate change assessments are important for drought-resistant agriculture. Risk of drought can be reduced by introducing a decision-making system based on these agro-meteorological information. The Arid Land Research Center is open to the public so that the general public can learn about deserts and challenges facing drylands. This center provides easy-to-understand and fun lectures by its researchers, tours of the Arid Land Dome and other facilities, panel exhibitions, and hands-on crafting experiences that even children can enjoy. It is a place where visitors can enjoy spending their time learning about the tradition of the center. The center also has an exhibition room of arid lands, as known as the Mini Desert Museum. Visitors can learn about the drylands around the world from the miniature models and videos, as well as the desertification process and revegetation techniques from the information panels. There is also an exhibition section of materials and specimens collected in the field survey, as well as a booth to try on traditional garments. This museum is open to the public on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays, excluding the year-end and New Year holidays. The center is also offering facility tours and hands-on learning experiences as a part of its outreach activities. A number of activities are available for young children, such as a scientific event called Let's Be a Desert Expert, sweet potato digging for nursery school children, and facility tours for elementary and junior high school students.
As a core of Japan Dryland Science and member of the World Dryland Institutions, we are conducting research to find solutions to various problems in dryland. We are currently facing serious problems such as climate change and resource scarcity. How to tackle these problems is our research theme. Currently, comprehensive technology innovations such as digital transformation, green technology will be the key to solving future problems. We would like to actively incorporate these advanced technology into our current research and use them to solve problems in dryland. We would like to go out to the real field in dryland and determine the truth of the problems and work together with the local people. Why don't you join to take action to solve the problem?
Faculty members of the Arid Land Research Center, who belong to the United Graduate School of Agricultural Sciences and the Graduate School of Sustainability Science, are looking to work with prospect students who aspire to pursue dryland science. Please visit our website to find out more information about the center.